Welcome to the YouTube lessons on ECGs in clinical practice. I am Dr. Mrs. D.S. Gunawardana, one of the consultant cardiac electrophysiologists working attached to the National Hospital Kandy, Sri Lanka. I have been working in the same station since year 2003. Since then, I have been conducting classes on interpretation of ECGs to medical students, medical officers, and postgraduate trainees. The textbook ECGs in Clinical Practice was written and published by me in year 2019. Material in this YouTube lecture series are from ECGs in Clinical Practice. I hope this YouTube lecture series will help you interpret ECGs. Lesson 3. Basic interpretation of ECGs. If you get a ECG to your hands, there is a professional way of handling the ECG. Let the ECG strip run between index and the middle finger. And in the first stretch, you can analyze limb leads. Lead 1, 2, 3, AVR, AVL, AVF. In the second stretch, you can analyze chest leads V1 to V6. Then rhythm strip and V4R lead if recorded. You should know how to make the request for ECGs. Now, when we are requesting any investigation, you have to put the patient's biological data correctly, patient name with initials, age, sex, etc. Then the BHT number very clearly, the time and date on which the request was made. Why? Patients with all ischemic heart disease are often advised to bring their previous ECGs. So some patients come with bundles of ECGs. You might interpret an old ECG, not the recent most ECG. Therefore, you have to mention the time and date on which the ECG is requested. Then on the request form, you have to mention 12 lead ECG, lead 2 rhythm strip. The lead 2 rhythm strip means the fairly longer recording on lead 2. It is useful to analyze rhythm disorders. Then lead V4R should be included if you suspect an acute coronary event. Now the ECG is on your hand. It is running between your index and the middle finger. First, confirm the identity of the patient by comparing patient's name with initials and the BHT number, and note down the time and date on which ECG was taken. Then note the calibration mark, look at the rhythm, whether it is regular, irregular, or whether there are rhythm disorders. Then note down the rate, ventricular rate, axis. Then look for abnormalities of QRS complex, ST segment, and T waves. So analysis beyond that depends on the QRS duration. The QRS complexes basically can be either narrow, as in normal sinus rhythm, or can be broad. Those are pathological. The best lead to calculate the QRS duration is lead V1. So this is narrow QRS complexes, these are broad QRS complexes. If QRS complexes are narrow, that means QRS duration is less than 0.12 seconds, less than 3 small squares. If you follow this flow chart, you can make the diagnosis of myocardial infarction correctly and very quickly. But you can apply this flow chart only if QRS complexes are narrow. First, look at lead 1 and AVL. These are two contiguous leads which record electrical activity of high lateral segment. Then note down what are the abnormalities, whether there are Q waves, QS complexes, whether the ST segment, depression. Note down whatever the abnormality. Next, look at lead 2, 3 AVF. If there are ST segment elevations in 2, 3 AVF, you have to look for V4R lead next, especially if patient is in cardiogenic shock. If there is ST segment elevation in V4R lead, you can make the diagnosis of acute inferior myocardial infarction with acute RV infarction. Unless you analyze V4R lead at this stage, you might forget to analyze V4R lead, because usually it will appear at the end of the ECG if you make the request. Then you move to lead V1. Now you have finished the analysis of limb leads. Lead V1. I told in lead V1 all the deflections are negative. P negative, there is a dominant S wave, T negative. But sometimes you may see tall R waves in lead V1. If so, you have to look for what are the possible causes of tall R waves in lead V1. What are the causes of tall R waves in lead V1? Physiological, in newborn and infant, you can see tall R waves in V1. Then pathological causes are true posterior myocardial infarction, mirror image dextrocardia, left side accessory pathway, right ventricular hypertrophy, moderate to severe pulmonary hypertension. Then next step is analyzing leads V1 to V3. If those leads show ST segment depressions, you have to suspect true posterior myocardial infarction and quickly ask for a repeat ECG with extended chest leads V7 to V9. Next, you analyze V1 to V6 as whole. Look for R wave progression and other abnormalities. Then finally analyze the lead to rhythm strip to diagnose rhythm disorders. Now you learnt about three-dimensional structure of the heart, cardiac segments, electrode views, coronary anatomy, the relationship between coronary anatomy and cardiac segments, then the basic interpretation of ECGs, dynamic pathological and dynamic ECG abnormalities seen in MI. Now, after learning all those things, after interpreting the ECG, you should be able to tell the diagnosis properly to get 100% marks in the exam. As well as it will be very important to manage the patient as well. In any medical diagnosis, you have to mention about the time duration. Next, in myocardial infarction, the type of myocardial infarction, whether it is ST segment elevated myocardial infarction or non-ST segment elevated myocardial infarction. Then the area involved, whether it is extensive anterior, whether it is apicolateral, like that. Reciprocal changes if present, and rhythm disorders. Those 5 things should be included in your diagnosis. So with this knowledge, let's analyze this ECG. This ECG belongs to a middle-aged male patient. He had suggestive chest pain and ECG was taken. This is his ECG. Now this is the calibration mark. You can see P waves, sinus P waves. QRS complexes are narrow or broad. QRS complexes are narrow or broad. Narrow QRS complexes. What is the rate? Just above 100 beats per minute. So there is sinus tachycardia as well. Now let's analyze the ECG. As QRS complexes are narrow, first you have to analyze lead 1 AVL. So what is their ST segment depressions? Next you have to analyze which leads 2, 3 AVL. What is there? You can see ST segment elevations. Next you analyze lead V1. You can see ST depression. V1 to V3, what can you see? Again ST segment depression followed by malignant ventricular tachyarrhythmia, polymorphic VT, ventricular fibrillation. Now, what is the diagnosis? What is the time duration? Acute. Which kind of MI? ST elevated. What are the areas involved? Inferior and true posterior myocardial infarction. Are there reciprocal changes? With reciprocal changes complicated with ventricular fibrillation. To get 100% marks, your diagnosis should be acute ST elevated inferior and true posterior myocardial infarction with reciprocal changes complicated with ventricular fibrillation. What could be the site of total occlusion? In the right coronary artery. Now we have come to the end of this YouTube lecture series on interpretation of ECGs. Thank you so much to all of you.